Hello everyone, my name's Claire Varley and welcome back to the home of EDFL Web TV, the Pascoe Vale Hotel. We'll be coming to you weekly on the EDFL YouTube channel. This season we'll be visiting clubs, so if your club has a significant event coming up, contact us via our social media networks. This week EDFL Web TV has been visiting another of our clubs, so let's throw to Pellizzeri and see what's going on.
Thanks, Claire. Yes, we're at the Hadfield Football Club this week and we're looking ahead to round 2 of Essendon District Football League action. Pellizzeri, Adem Saricaoglu and Dave Kennedy from EDFL Radio with you for the preview and our broadcast game, which is where we'll start this week in Strathmore Community Bank Premier Division. It's two teams who lost in the opening weekend. One of them is going to be Zip and 2, Greenvale versus Avondale Heights. And Adam, that is big consequences for the loser of this game, and I think it's a fitting match of the round.
I think it is too, Teo. You're probably not surprised with Greenvale's result against Aberfeldy last week, but look, Avondale Heights, they got touched up by a team that's finished in the bottom of the ladder last year, regardless of what Pascoe have done over the summer. So, by all reports, Sardi's going to have the boys fired up and they're going to be super keen to bounce back, whereas I think Greenvale might just be easing their way in at the moment under a new coach. They're pretty competitive against Aberfeldy, so certainly two different mindsets going into this game at Section Road. Well,
you say they were competitive, Dave. Tom Hill, both the Marrick brothers and Trent Shinners all missed the best. The only new Greenvale face that was a high-profile recruit during the off-season, Fabian DeLuca, the ruckman, made the best 6 for Greenvale. I know clubs don't always name the best 6 in their best 6, but it's pretty significant that they got within a couple of kicks of Aberfeldy, and that was without any of their big off-season initial recruits, some of the big names that came through, actually being in their best players.
And they were competitive all day is the other point that we need to make, Teo. I think that last year we remember the epic Greenvale comeback against Aberfeldy. This year it was the reversal. I think Greenvale will take a lot out of that though, because let's not forget, I think that sometimes we forget that Aberfeldy were only a couple of seconds, a minute off winning a premiership last year. So I think that the Greenvale result is certainly more pleasing from their point of view than the Avondale result is from Avondale's point of view.
And I should mention Nick Lower as well, also not in the best players for Greenvale, and yet they got very close. So maybe that's a sign that they've got a lot more to give. Guys, your tip, which way are you going to go for this one, Greenvale or Avondale Heights?
I'm going to go with Greenvale. Yep.
I'm sticking with the Heights. I reckon they can bounce back, and hopefully, for their sake, last week was just an aberration. All
right, let's take a look now at Keilor versus Maribyrnong Park. Maribyrnong Park named a very strong side at the weekend. We talked about the state of their flux their team was in all of last season, using about 50 senior players. Well, they had everyone up and firing at the weekend, and they fell just shy after a bit of a seesaw game all day against Strathmore. And having looked at the team lists, I'm now maybe thinking that was a missed opportunity for Marby, and I just wonder how many times this season will a team of that quality be available for them on the field. I've tipped Keilor in the record, but I reckon Marby are going to give this one a really good shake. Adam, who's going to get the points when Keilor takes on Maribyrnong Park?
I'm going Keilor as well, but I'm far more confident than you are, Teo. I think Keilor might even have improved on last year, and we'll see how they can go throughout the year. But they look seriously good right now, Keilor, and I'm still got a lot of question marks over Maribyrnong Park. So I reckon Keilor gets up at least by 4 or 5 goals. No disrespect to Marby, I just think Keilor's a fair way ahead right now.
And Dave, your tip for Keilor and Marby?
3 for Keilor. I think that it was really pleasing to see Keilor kick a big score once. I guess we raised a few question marks against Strathmore that maybe they couldn't quite kick those big scores necessary. They kicked a serious score on the weekend. I think they'll win.
Okay, and stop me if you're not going to go with the favourite in any of these, the remaining Strathmore Community Bank Premier Division games. Northern Saints against Aberfeldy. Do I have any takers for the Saints? How about Pascoe Vale versus Airport West? Anyone tipping Airport West this weekend? All right, what about Strathmore versus West Coburg, the Digby Morrell homecoming? Although it's not his home, he was at pains to point that out to us at the weekend that he doesn't see it as a homecoming. West Coburg is his home now. Strathmore versus the Burgers. Are they a chance at Lebanon Reserve, or does Strathmore improve to 2-1 on the season in this one?
Pretty confidently say that Strathmore should win this game, but we never know. We really, truly never know. I mean, I know you don't really rate too highly what West Coburg did to the Northern Saints, but, you know, on their day they can produce some good footy, so they might be a sneaky little chance, but I'm not confident enough to tip them. I still think Strathmore can win this one by 5 or 6 goals.
Don't say that, Chief. I can just imagine Digby stopping me in the car park. Listen, and giving me a bit of a serve about that. But no, I think that Digby Morrell will get his side competitive in any game that they play. I think that he's so structured and meticulous as a coach that they're going to be competitive, and so is Craig Clinic, though. I think that it's just a matter of class. I think Strathmore will win.
Well, Strathmore my pick as well, but that is the weekend coming up in Strathmore Community Bank Premier Division. The game for broadcast, Greenvale versus Avondale Heights. Let's move on to Essendon Ford Division 1 now, and the big game is one that could have a number of long-term ramifications here. East Keilor taking on Hillside. East Keilor blown away by Essendon Duda Stars in the first round of the season. There was a real gulf in quality between the two. The Premier team taking on the Division 2 team, of course, and meeting for the first time in Essendon Ford Division 1. Maybe that was to be expected, but what about Hillside? Can East Keilor bounce back? Can Hillside finally get a first win on the board? Which way are you going on this one?
Yeah, I'm expecting Hillside to get up in this one, Teo. Really disappointed to see that East Keilor got touched up the way they did on the weekend, and Hillside, after a very disappointing start to the year, I still rate them. I still think they might just be okay and get obviously enough wins to stay up and maybe push for a top 4 spot. They just had a slow start. I do think Hillside are going to win. I might have just overestimated just what East Keilor can do this year. They might be seriously struggling, at least in the early part of the season. So Sharks for mine.
And Dave, if Hillside drop this one, all of a sudden the R word maybe gets bandied around, and they were being spoken about, at least by Adam and I, as dark horses in pre-season. Can East Keilor ride it after the Duda Stars game, or does Hillside get their season back on track?
Look, Tay, I'm going to tip Hillside, but not with any sort of confidence. I think East Keilor came up against Duda Stars, who are obviously out to prove a point this entire season. You know, new coach and just so much class down at Duda Stars. So Hillside for me, but with no confidence, definitely watch this space for me.
All right, let's go through the other Essendon Ford Division 1 games. Glenroy versus Taylors Lakes is a bit of a coin toss at the moment. I'm tipping Glenroy because they're at home and they were so good against Craigieburn last week, but this is a really early 8-pointer in the battle for positions in the top 4. So, Adam, who do you like out of the Royers and the Lakers?
I like Taylors Lakes. I reckon they can go up there and maybe, in your opinion, cause an upset. I don't think it will be an upset. Taylors Lakes should be the favourites in this game, and yeah, hopefully it will be close. I expect it to be a close one. I'm pretty sure these two played out a draw a couple of years ago at Saul Reserve from memory. So hopefully another classic game down there.
Teo, I'm going with Glenroy as well, based on your logic of the home game. Chief, I think that the interesting thing is that if you're tipping Taylors Lakes, you obviously don't read too much into the Craigieburn form, but that's the only reason that I've gone with Glenroy.
Okay, West Meadows taking on Oak Park. This one could just as easily have been the broadcast game given the form of these two sides, but who do you like? I'm tipping the Tigers. I don't have a great deal of authority in that tip given how impressive Oak Park were in week 1, but maybe it was just a classic round 1 game and we might see a bit of regression back to where their level is actually at this week. So West Meadows for me. This one really is just a guess though. Adam, which way are you leaning?
I know last year doesn't count for anything, but I do think West Meadows might just have a few more credits in the book, and I suppose I do trust them more than I trust Oak Park right now. I want to see more of Oak Park before I'm willing to tip them in a game like this. It could well be very even. I wouldn't be too surprised if Oak Park get up again, but I'm going to stick with the Tigers for now.
And Dave?
I'm tipping Oak Park, guys. I think that it was an impressive result on the weekend. The thing that I was most impressive about, Bloomfield, just the 2 goals and not in the best. He must have massive shoulders still from last year because he was really carrying the Oak Park boys. I think it's a real confidence thing for them. I think they're the type of side that can get the early wins on the board and really go places from there.
And the great unknown, we've had to wait an extra week, which has actually just built the suspense for the debut of Tullamarine. Now, I'm not going to name any names, but their recruiting drive has taken them far and wide, and plenty of players have received offers, and some have said yes and some have said no. And Tullamarine, as recently as the last week or so, are still trying to recruit. They, I think, will work right up to the clearance deadline, guys, so I'm not sure their team is the finished article. Coming up against Craigieburn, who will be better for the run of having played 1 game last week. Craigieburn's the easy pick here. Does anyone want to make the case for Tullamarine, or do we see Craigieburn improving to 2-0?
Craigieburn will go to 2-0. Don't think Tulla. You're right, Taylor. I don't think they're ready yet. They might take a little while to get going this year, and if they're still trying to boost their depth now, then they're in serious trouble. So Craigieburn, they've got the ball rolling, and they'll continue on and go 2-0.
I'd make the case for this game not being included in our tipping. This is like tipping GWS in their first game. Who knows with Tullamarine? They're just a new look side. I've gone with Craigie Burn, but not with any confidence. So it depends on what Tullamarine bring to the table.
Well, for the sake of the competition, I hope Tullamarine comes out and gives them a really good run. And it may not be the worst thing if there was a Tullamarine win here. Certainly, it would keep us guessing because we've had a few surprise results, and that's what Essendon 4 Division 1 keeps on throwing up. Let's finish the predictions for the weekend with Strathmore Community Bank Division 2 and the blockbuster, which many people feel will be the grand final this season. Roxburgh Park taking on Coburg Districts. Might have to duck for cover because I've said that here, of course, at Hadfield's home ground. But I think the Hawks will make this year's grand final myself, but if you had to make a case for two other teams to be there at Windy Hill in September, these would be the pair. Who is going to get the points here, though? Very interesting matchup. It was 1 point the difference in the preliminary final last year. So will it be the Magpies or the Lions who get an important early season win?
We're getting some serious stares from some of the staff here at Hadfield, Teo, so thanks for that. Yeah, look, I don't know too much about Coburg Districts just yet, so I'm probably going to stick with Roxy at this stage, but this is really a coin flip. It's an early season, so even if if there is a significant result one way or the other in terms of the margin, we probably can't read too much into it, but for now I'll just stick with Roxy, but for no real particular reason, really just coin landed on tails. Home
ground advantage as well. Dave?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Roxburgh Park, but with no knowledge or logic behind the decision, just because I liked Roxburgh Park in the grand final last year.
All right, we'll fly through the other games. There's a clear favourite and a clear underdog for each of them. Burnside Heights taking on Jacana. I reckon the Jags will be keen to repair some of that percentage, so I think they might have a good win. Can you make a case for Burnside Heights in this one?
A very small one, because maybe Jacana's gone backwards, but I still think the Jags will win. You just never know. The Bears might just sneak one on them.
East Sunbury versus Moonee Valley. East Sunbury's first home game of the year. We praised their efforts kicking a decent score in round one, but Dave, can you see any chance that they maybe win a quarter or a half here against Moonee Valley?
No, I think Moonee Valley will be too strong this week.
And last but not least, Hadfield taking on Keilor Park. There's a lot of high expectations internally at Keilor Park. They need to show us something on the field to convince us. Beating Hadfield would be a good start, but I think the Hawks will go 2-0. Adam, how do you think that one will pan out?
It might be closer than we think this game, but I still think Hadfield should win relatively comfortably.
Well, guys, what are you looking forward to the most as we wrap up EDFL Web TV ahead of a big weekend?
I know it's easy to go to the broadcast game because we'll be there, Teo, but I seriously want to see a response from Avondale Heights, and I want to see a bit of fire in the belly on Saturday up at Section Road.
And Dave, what are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to seeing whether Oak Park are the real deal in Division 1. They take on West Meadows. I think it'll be really interesting. Also, of course, looking forward to the broadcast game as well. As Chief said, a huge game for Avondale Heights.
Well, join us on Northwest FM from 1 p.m. on Saturday, and don't forget to download EDFL Team app. It's absolutely free, and it is the easiest way to get the Northwest FM coverage if you can't get it on 98.9 FM. That's it for EDFL Web TV this week. On behalf of the team, Claire Varley, Adem Saricaoglu, Dave Kennedy and myself, Teo Pellizzeri, a big thank you to the Hadfield Football Club for being our host this week. We're going to clubs this season, so make sure if you've got a big milestone coming up or a club event that you want to promote, that might be the perfect week to have us come out and shoot EDFL Web TV at your home ground. Until next time, keep it on the EDFL YouTube channel, and goodbye.
That's the end of this edition of EDFL Web TV. Make sure to check out the EDFL YouTube channel for more videos. I'm Claire Varley, and we'll see you back here at the Pascoe Vale Hotel soon.